movies and games and TV shows, the Cinemaniacs podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Cinemaniacs podcast, where we talk about movies, games, and TV shows.
Ooh.
As always, I'm your host, Maceo, and I'm always joined by...
Matthew.
Today, we're going to talk about movies, games, and TV shows. What a shocker, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Plot
Plot twist. Well, to start us off, Good Burger, Cinema is back. Good
Yes.
Burger 2 dropped a trailer that's going to be out on Paramount Plus, and it looks exactly like the first one, except without Dan Schneider. So, arguably better? Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, how long has it been since the first Good Burger movie?
2003, 4.
So basically 20 years.
Yeah. I don't have nostalgia for the first one. I actually saw it for the first time like maybe 2 years ago. Yeah, and it was funny. I mean, it's a fun dumb movie, but I mean, fans are obviously going to be excited for this. Yeah. But I personally I found it too late, basically.
Yeah.
To be excited for this, but it's cool that it's happening. It's kind of like how it's cool that the iCarly show is going on right now, but I will never watch it. You know. I don't know. It looks fun. Literally the trailer's only like 30 seconds long because the movie comes out like next month or something like that.
Probably like an hour and 20-minute movie or something.
Oh yeah, I think the first one's only about an hour and 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's the original cast minus Dan Schneider. So, yeah. Another trailer. We got Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the Scott Pilgrim anime.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this, and it looks really good. And it's
good, yeah.
the entire original cast from the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World, one of my favorite movies of all time. I know you still have to see it, right?
Yeah, I still haven't watched it.
Oh my god, I love it so much. This is a direct, like a lot of these shots are direct from the movie.
Yeah.
I love it. I've
seen that shot, like the live action version of it. Yeah.
Where they're standing. Pac-Man was actually named Puck-Man. That scene is iconic. But it looks like a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'm very excited to see it. It comes out on Netflix, I think in November, I want to say. I believe it comes out this year. But it looks like a lot of fun. Very excited to see that.
Cool.
Another thing that I had was Monarch. Monarch, the Legacy of Monsters series on HBO Max, I think. That would make sense.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. We got images. We got our first images. This show is we got a synopsis for it as well. This show is going to be following it's an epic journey which follows the thunderous battle between Godzilla and the Titans that leveled San Francisco and the shocking revelation that monsters are real. Monarch Legacy of Monsters tracks two siblings following in their father's footsteps to uncover their family connection to the secretive organization known as Monarch. Clues lead them into the world of monsters and ultimately down to a rabbit hole of Army Officer Lee Shaw, played by Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell, taking place in the 1950s and half a century later, where Monarch is threatened by what Shaw knows. The dramatic saga spanning 3 generations reveals buried secrets and the ways that epic, earth-shattering events can reverberate through our lives. I'm pretty excited. It sounds pretty good. Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell playing the same character sounds amazing.
Yeah.
A great way to utilize father and son duo.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a huge fan of doing that, by the way, like using actors, like actor families as like a younger and future version of one character, like
Thor: Love and Thunder when he's like running or whatever.
Right, it's his son.
Yeah.
But the example that the thing that I think of the most is John Connie, who plays T'Chaka in Black Panther, T'Challa's dad. his son played the younger version of him in the first Black Panther movie.
Oh.
And I love that. I just think that's a great way to instead of CGIing an older man to look like 20 years younger, CGIing a 70-year-old man to look 50 instead of and he's supposed to be 20 or something. You know, I just it's just a nice way to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in what this show is going to look like.
Absolutely.
It's pretty interesting. I like the MonsterVerse. It so far is it's not even, it's like, it's successful, but I wouldn't say it's like a hugely successful franchise. But it's funny because I would say that it's probably the second most successful cinematic universe compared like next to Marvel, which is hilarious and shows like how successful Marvel is. Yeah. I'm excited for it. Excited for the movie too. The other movie that's coming out, the Godzilla X Kong, something I can't remember what it's called. But it's the sequel to Kong versus Godzilla movie. Yeah. That's all I had this week. Pretty small week. I actually had one more thing. Percy Jackson teaser. Percy Jackson. Not much to say about it though. It looks interesting. I mean, I don't know. I think
it does look interesting.
Yeah, is the best way I can put it.
So apparently the Disney Plus show is going to follow like the books like a lot more accurately than like the movies did. The movies were decently accurate, but like kind of straight off on their own kind of path as well. Yeah. Apparently the series is going to try to stay in more line with the books.
Okay.
I will say this though. I saw a shot from the Percy Jackson series because they dropped like, I don't know if it was like a full trailer or like
it was a teaser trailer. It was like a minute-long teaser.
And I saw a shot of this guy just like standing with like a sword.
Yeah, I know what shot you're talking about.
And it looks like they clearly like used like the volume or whatever.
Yeah.
Like when they definitely like didn't need to. The background just like looked atrocious.
It's like a normal landscape.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, why?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like the over-reliance on like the volume and stuff is definitely a hindrance on the Disney Plus shows. It's not like their biggest problem necessarily, like overall all of them, but it's
definitely not.
It doesn't help the over-reliance of it.
Right. It's I think Disney found that the volume is it's expensive obviously, but they own one, I believe. So it's like it's less expensive for them to just
it's lazier, really.
It's lazier and it can be really cool.
Yeah.
When it's used right.
Yeah.
It can't be used as a green screen the entire time.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a full on like, okay, let's shoot our entire show on the volume.
Yeah.
Like,
don't do that.
That's not what it was made for in the first place. It was made to like it was really made for like abstract planets and stuff like that. But it was also made for blending in CGI, like, settings, LED settings and stuff like that with, like, regular sets.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Like, I don't think the next Scorsese movie is going to take place on the volume.
Oh, no.
When you could go to a pub where he's probably going to record,
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know. But either way, I'm definitely gonna watch the Percy Jackson show.
I'll probably check it out.
I'm kind of excited for the lead guy playing Percy Jackson. He was in the Adam Project.
Yep, oh my gosh, he's great. He was like 10 in the Adam Project. He's obviously older now, but in the Adam Project, he's still wonderful.
Yeah.
It feels like they ripped Ryan Reynolds from the past and just brought him to that movie.
And I don't know. I feel like this show will probably be one of their. A lot of people are going to watch this show, I have a feeling. It might be their most successful like Marvel, Star Wars, Disney Plus show.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's
and I could see this show getting probably multiple seasons and stuff like that because the first season is going to cover the first book. So it would be a natural progression, obviously, for, the more and more seasons to cover the more and more books. And also they're starting with a younger cast. So, you can kind of play around that as well. I don't know. Looks like it could be fun though.
Yeah, definitely. It looks interesting. It's not impressing me yet, but it's interesting.
It still really hasn't separated. It's like objectively, I feel like it hasn't really separated itself from like how any of the other Disney Plus shows
Right.
look, you know, like Willow, for example.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I actually watched all of Willow, and
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
Percy Jackson doesn't look that dissimilar.
Right.
Let's say,
Yeah.
you know, but I hope that it is nothing like
Still on board.
Yeah,
but cautious.
Yeah, cautiously on board.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that might be the second time in the past episode where we've like synced up. We just did. Okay, well then, I mean that's all the news I had, so you can go ahead and jump into whatever you had.
I just got a little bit. Michael Cera is apparently currently looking to direct his first movie, and he's working on getting the finance for it. And stuff like that. So he's getting that together. Another actor turned filmmaker, possibly.
Yeah, which is always, I mean, even if it's like an atrocious movie, it's still nice to see actors take new steps.
Oh yeah,
towards things like that. The thing with Michael Cera is that he's been out of the acting scene for so long now, other than Barbie.
Yeah, it's really like, okay, is Barbie like the resurgence of Michael Cera?
I hope so. I love Michael Cera. He's hilarious. But the last movie I think he did before Barbie was Lego Batman, because he played Robin in that movie. I don't think he's done anything since then, other than Barbie. And it's kind of an interesting thing. We don't know based on like what kind of movies he's doing. Like, what could this movie look like?
Yeah,
that he wants to make.
Maybe that's why he's not taking like lead roles anymore. You know, which in the first place he hasn't been like a lead guy that much. Like he has like his specific things, like Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim is probably the thing that I can think of where he is like the lead.
Yeah,
yeah.
But everything else, he's almost like the guy, you know, or like this, like in Superbad. He's like it's Jonah Hill and Michael Cera,
right? Yeah,
know? And he's also in like movies like This Is the End. He's there for like 5 seconds,
dies in the first 5
dies
minutes.
Immediately.
Yeah,
Barbie, he's Alan.
He's Alan.
He's there. He's having fun and stuff.
Exactly. He's kind of the second man. You know, he's kind of the background.
He's not Ken. Yeah,
he's not Ken. He's Alan. He's not Batman. He's Robin.
He's not Batman.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Robin. Exactly. Yeah.
And then but like resurgence of Michael Cera, we literally were just talking about this.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in the next Wes Anderson movie.
He's gonna be in the next Wes Anderson movie.
That's awesome.
That's
he's
awesome.
gonna be in. Oh my gosh, he's gonna be in a movie. I can't remember who's directing it, but he's gonna be in a movie with Emma Mackey, I believe.
Emma Mackey, okay.
Or no, Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart, okay.
Yeah, and they're gonna play a couple, a modern day couple.
Yeah, it was like a road trip, like I think it was like a road trip like romance movie or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember. I think we talked about it like
when it first got announced.
Yeah, briefly.
We briefly talked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, resurgence of Michael Cera, hell yeah.
Yeah, and he's directing his first movie.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
New A24 film.
Okay.
Gotta announce.
Yep.
The Curse. Okay. Starring Emma Stone and Benny Safdie.
And don't forget, I know you probably don't know who this is, but Nathan Fielder.
Oh, Nathan. Okay.
He is, for those of you who don't know, he has a show called Nathan For You, and he is an actor. He has acted before. In fact, the entire show of Nathan For You is kind of acting, but it's a reality show. He goes around real local businesses and comes up with the stupidest way to make them successful that is clearly meant to make them fail, and they go along with it. The biggest one that popped off was called Dumb Starbucks, where he went up to a local coffee shop and under parody law, you can get away with having Starbucks in the title if you put dumb or like another word with it. Yeah. And it like was success. It was a Starbucks. They like made it into a Starbucks basically. Same outfits, same name of the coffees and stuff. Just everything had dumb in front of it. And it got so big it was like all over the news when that like episode, or like not when that episode came out because it came out after it was big, but when it was going on, it was all over media and stuff. It's hilarious. It's a funny show. But he's a great actor, and that show proves it because he's so like one note. He's very like, I'm Nathan For You. I'm we're gonna make your life better. He's just like that the entire time. So, but he's great.
Yeah.
This project, yes.
Yeah. So Emma Stone, Benny Safdie, and Nathan Fielder, and apparently it releases fall of this year. So kind of getting blindsided, I guess, with a new A24 Emma Stone, Benny Safdie.
Yeah,
stuff.
with Emma Stone and Benny Safdie, I'm like, that's real so soon without any.
And I think Poor Things, right, is coming out this year as well. So
at the end of this year,
2 Emma Stone films, kind of.
She's kind of getting lowballed there.
Yeah. Poor Things is A24 though.
It's not. It's as far as I know, it's not. I think it's just like the thing about it is that it's Yorgos Lanthimos. Yeah.
But
interesting.
The Curse.
A24 Emma Stone.
Very interesting. We got a new video game adaptation from Sony.
Okay.
And the casting is definitely interesting choices for sure. So Jak and Daxter. Have you heard of the game Jak and Daxter before?
I have.
It's like a guy and like a little small like orange creature on like his shoulder or something. I've never played the game, but I've just like seen.
That's exactly what I know of it. Yeah.
So we have Tom Holland and Chris Pratt attached to this project.
No way.
Tom Holland is gonna play Jak and Chris Pratt is gonna be Daxter.
And
it's live action as well. So yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And it's gonna be directed by Ruben Fleischer, who was a part of making Venom and Uncharted. So a Sony connected guy.
Okay, yeah, he's like their guy that they have to make like mediocre films.
Yeah. Okay. So, how we feel?
Okay, first of all, I don't really love, but I also kind of love that their casting choices for 2 beloved video game characters are once again the 2 most regular choices.
Like kind of oversaturated actors at this point. Like literally the entire internet kind of, especially Chris Pratt, right?
I would honestly argue both of them, but yes, Chris Pratt especially because he was Mario and Garfield.
Especially voice acting wise. Wait, okay, hold up. Yeah, he's voicing Daxter. So Daxter is
he's a little orange creature.
He's the little orange guy. So yeah. So Chris Pratt in voice acting roles specifically is voicing big characters.
Yeah, and it would be his second time voicing an orange cat. Yeah. An orange creature, That's the thing about it, it's really upsetting because Tom Holland and Chris Pratt are great together.
Yeah.
They are amazing actors. We know that they are. We've seen what they can do. But it's the fact that they're in everything. They're like the reverse. Yeah. They're like the reverse Dwayne Johnson. Yeah. They're in everything, and we like them, but they're actually good at acting. But at the same time, just like The Rock, we don't want to see him in everything.
Yeah,
it is,
or at least I want to see Tom Holland and Chris Pratt and stuff, but not in like so much IP but
existing IP
franchise related stuff like. Bro, Tom Holland, when he was doing The Devil All the Time,
that like era of Tom
Cherry,
Holland.
All that stuff, like, bro, where did those go, bro?
Yeah.
You need to start connecting with some directors or something, man.
Yeah.
And then Chris Pratt, I don't know. Chris Pratt has never really been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make like a cinephile movie, you know? He's mostly been like comedy or like franchise.
I would say I haven't even seen this movie, but I know like the kind of movie that it is. The most probably cinephile movie you could say that he's been in is Moneyball. With I think Jonah Hill's in that too.
Yeah, and Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yeah.
That's definitely the most
the most cinephile movie he's been in. And then he also did like Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence, but that movie wasn't received very well.
Yeah.
But he is a good actor. And it sucks because he could be like in that cinephile. He could easily be in one. Yeah. Maybe, at this point you would see him and be like, I don't know if I could. But he can. I know he can.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just really upsetting because I love both of them. They're both great actors. I love watching them on screen together. And it's just that they're being chosen for all these existing characters.
Yeah. It's like this is now Tom Holland's like second lead like Sony video game character in an adaptation now. Like why is he Nathan Drake and Jak?
And I mean, if you want to say Spider-Man because he's a Sony-owned video game character.
And Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man, yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like these were... Especially both of them, like, together. It's like...
It's almost like the culmination.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, maybe, honestly, this movie... Bro, honestly, maybe this movie is, like, the breaking point, and maybe it's, like... I hope not. Maybe it's, like, the best movie of all time. But
yeah, of course.
Obviously,
I doubt it,
realistically, it's probably not going to be.
Yeah.
And maybe it's so bad that it's just like, okay, Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, let's start doing some more varied projects and stuff, you know?
Maybe, yeah.
Anyways, Jak and Daxter movie.
Jak and Daxter.
Probably won't watch it. I don't know.
We might have to. I don't know.
Anyways, the last bit of news I have is the voice of Mario, Charles Martinet.
Chris Pratt?
Yeah, Chris Pratt, yeah. He's not, this is like some video game news. He's not going to be voicing Mario or any other characters in the next Mario game.
Yeah, the Mario Wonder.
Yeah, so he's kind of retiring, I'm guessing.
That hurts so much because he is Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no Mario without Charles Martinet. And as much as you might want to say, well, he existed before Charles Martinet came on, that Mario is not what I view as Mario. You know, Mario to me, because of the time period that I was born in and that I grew up with, is Yahoo! You know? Yeah. It's upsetting that he's... I mean, it's not obviously... It's not obviously. It could be Nintendo's decision, but I'm sure he wants to some degree. Maybe he feels like, yeah, it's time, you know? Yeah. And to be fair, with this new art style of Mario, this kind of new Mario, it is kind of fitting to maybe start this new era of Mario without Charles Martinet instead of cutting him off in the middle, you know? Yeah. People were already talking about this because going through the trailer, they were comparing Mario's dialogue and his noises that he makes to Charles Martinet, like the most recent one in Odyssey.
Yeah. And
it doesn't sound the same. So people were already kind of wondering, and I guess now confirmed. Yeah. But it obviously isn't affecting too much because they got someone that sounds like him. You know, it's like anybody can do a Mario impression. Yeah. But the fact that it isn't Charles Martinet, that it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's like a legend stepping away from an iconic role, you know.
So. Right? Yeah, he is. People don't know Charles Martinet like they do like a Marvel actor, you know. Yeah. But in my eyes, he's as iconic as they are.
Yeah,
and I think to a lot of video game and Mario fans, they would probably agree with that.
Yep.
So it's we could take this moment. Thank you, Charles Martinet, for all your years of service as this character and for bringing him to life, for making him what he is.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for playing my game. Yeah. Anyways, is that all you had?
Yeah, that's my movie, game, and TV news.
All right. Well, then let's hop into the comic book segment.
Let's get it.
Can dun 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 woo, and then you jump into like a painting or something. Okay, well, starting off here, the director of Thunderbolts, I can't remember his name, Jake Schrader, I think, something like that. He said that the Thunderbolts movie is going to be a personal story, and it's not a sequel. Obviously, I didn't really think. I think it serves as a Black Widow sequel, but it is not a Black Widow sequel.
Yeah.
It's easily going to be the most connected though to Black Widow.
Yeah.
Interesting though, calling it a personal story. I think that's a very good way to a Suicide Squad 2021 way to go about it, is making it very personal to the characters. Best way to go about it, I think. Yeah. Team of villains. You can't really go about a movie, a team of villains. And I mean, literally 2016 Suicide Squad proved this. You can't go about a movie about a team of villains and have it them pretending to be superheroes, kind of. Yeah. It's got to be, we have to know, like, it's got to be a personal story. We have to know that they aren't heroes.
Yeah.
You know? And in that first movie, you can argue that they know that they're not heroes, but it's much more heroic. It doesn't feel earned. Like Will Smith and them and Margot Robbie pretending to be these villains and then doing this like heroic act didn't feel like it was earned almost.
Yeah.
But the 2021, we find out about these characters. We learn how much they hate themselves, basically.
Yeah.
And so what doing a heroic act means and watching them turn around and go towards Starro, what that means. And I think that, look, we don't know about the director. We don't know about the story so far. The team isn't what we were thinking. But as long as the story's good, you know.
As long as the story's storying.
Yeah, as long as it's storying, you know. Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
I like the team like projects and stuff in general, like just seeing like a bunch of the characters and stuff interact and everything. I feel like Thunderbolts is going to be a great opportunity to see like obviously a bunch of known characters that haven't interacted before interact, and also some new guys in the mix and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm decently excited for Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I'd say I am too, just because I have been looking forward to a Thunderbolts movie. It's the thing that pulls me back is the fact that it's a bunch of characters that don't excite me, other than Bucky. You know, seeing Bucky's always fun, but yeah, no one really, especially they put Taskmaster on that team. I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm kind of out a little bit. But I know
kind of sucks that they're not gonna retcon.
It does. It does. I mean, seriously, you see
especially with the multiverse stuff now, like maybe you just bring in a dude that from another universe. It's like, I'm Taskmaster now, guys.
Right. It just doesn't make sense.
Or maybe it might be kind of like direct, but maybe the most brutal way is just like the Taskmaster that we were introduced to in Black Widow and stuff is just like a fake Taskmaster, and like the actual one will like kill them or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, that would be pretty direct, but
it would be like a little cheap, but honestly, anything to get that one out of there. It was cheap to make the version of Taskmaster that they did, you know, instead of just doing the one people wanted to see. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, Thunderbolt's a personal story, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
This was a shock, to be sure. Thor 5 is in development. That's not the shock. Thor 5 is in development. Okay, that makes sense. The shock is that Taika Waititi will be directing and I believe writing as well. And he has said that the villain will be more powerful than Hela. Wasn't Gore supposed to be more powerful than Hela?
I think so.
It just didn't feel like he was, you know, because we didn't see any of it.
Yeah.
Maybe it would feel that way if we actually saw him, you know, butcher gods, his name. Anyways, the thing we got to talk about is Taika. What is your opinion about this?
So, I don't know. It's it varies, honestly. Like, I think I'm not gonna be like, I'm not gonna sit here and like bash Taika
no
or
way.
anything like that because of one, you know, not up to par movie that he made.
Right.
And a lot of people, especially like his overall filmography, like I've heard like Jojo Rabbit is like amazing and stuff.
It's one of my favorite films.
Ragnarok is obviously an amazing film as well. There's no reason to condemn his entire filmography.
There's no reason.
Just because he made, you know, definitely a not up to par, you know, kind of movie. And on that part, I am kind of excited for him coming back to Thor 5 because I feel like maybe, especially with like them directly mentioning Hela, maybe we're going back to like Ragnarok kind of feeling.
I hope so.
You know, not as silly as Love and Thunder. Right. And maybe honestly, I feel like he's probably gonna over adjust with the criticism and probably go darker than.
That was the case with Thor. He overcorrected with the positives and made it even more funny. So But that's the thing is we don't want Thor to be. I mean, I speak for myself. I don't want Thor to be a dark character.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to be a silly character either.
Yeah, there's a balance in there.
And the thing is, he found it. He found it already. And he was like, okay, well, I'm going to do more of the thing that I want to do. Oh, and then the obvious outcome of this would be I'm going to do the thing that they want, which is make him dark. And that, he's going to do it. Most likely he'll do it out of like, fuck you. I'm going to make it like really dark so that way you don't really like it, This isn't what you wanted, but you say it is,
Yeah.
Because he's just that kind of, he's literally, we see interviews and stuff. He just is that kind of guy where it's like, I don't care what you say. I'm going to,
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And I like Taika as a director. Yeah. I think, seriously, the only movie you could say that is bad from Taika is Thor Love and Thunder that I have seen. Two of my favorite movies of all time, Jojo Rabbit and Thor Ragnarok. Both his movies. He wrote both of them. He directed both of them. I hold out hope, but I'm not on board yet because we don't know anything, Yeah. And the thing is, I don't even hate Love and Thunder. I really like Love and Thunder, but it's probably the weakest Thor movie. Arguably, I think Dark World might be a little weaker because it's the Dark World. It was so bland in tone,
Dark World is so boring.
Yeah.
But Love and Thunder is also like, I don't know, it's kind of just there as well.
Yeah, I would say that's
like
a fair take.
But it's more. It definitely has more style to it for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely has more style.
And I'm not gonna lie, the more that I watch movies outside of like superhero movies, the more I kind of get upset with how they did gore. Because especially, and I'll talk about this later. After watching the Dark Knight trilogy, I really wish they utilized Christian Bale way more.
Yeah, man.
It does. Going back and watching Love and Thunder, it's like, this was a waste.
Yeah.
Like a disrespectful waste almost.
Yeah, and it could have been. I honestly feel like it's there. Like I feel like the cut of the movie is like there somewhere, like
right
where those like kills and stuff are at least somewhere in there,
Yeah.
That's where like reports and rumors were saying, at least, is that a lot of that was like trimmed out and stuff.
Right.
And I just don't understand why.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Like,
because we see in the movie, we see specifically gore. We see the character, how good the character can be.
Yeah.
And he's only got like 3 scenes, something like that. And he's, don't get me wrong, Christian Bale is great in every scene he's in.
Yeah.
But the problem stems from the fact that he's not used the way that he should be used.
Not at all.
And it's, and so Thor 5, most likely with Hercules probably being, and that's probably who the villain is. Villain's probably going to be Hercules. Just
I don't know. I don't see him being more powerful than Hela.
I don't either.
I honestly feel like he might be like a mid tier movie villain where he's like kind of defeated like a quarter or halfway through.
Well, that's their relationship, but Thor and Hercules. It's I can predict exactly their relationship. It's he starts out, I'm gonna go kill Thor, and then they become buddies halfway through after Thor wins a battle against him, and
literally
from the rest of the movie,
exactly.
It's gonna be Ragnarok. Him and a stronger character, a big beefier character, are gonna fight and then be buddies for the rest of the movie. Yeah.
I honestly, I will say the guy playing Hercules, Brett Goldstein.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I've watched a little bit of Ted Lasso. I'm probably gonna have to rewatch it because I kind of dropped out of it when I was watching more movies and stuff like that and came up and D&D and everything. But I think that I don't know. I think I need to go back and watch it. But he was really good from what I saw in Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited for what he's gonna bring with Hercules. I just don't know about because they definitely CGI'd like his muscles, for sure.
It was his face on a CGI body. Yeah,
like he's in good shape too. That's the thing. If you see shirtless pictures of him, and he plays like a soccer player or whatever in Ted Lasso, so he's walking around like shirtless in the locker room and stuff. He has a good physique and stuff, but nowhere near what they show in Thor: Love and Thunder.
He's gonna need to put on some meat to fight Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's gonna get on some stuff for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna give him that Marvel juice.
Oh yeah.
their secret Marvel formula.
Yeah.
That's that. When people say the Marvel formula, that's what they mean. It's not like the formulaic storytelling. It's the juice that they pump their actors full of to be big. You know. Yeah. Anyways, I'm hopeful, but I'm not on board yet. Yeah. Anyways, another thing that I'm also hopeful but not on board yet with is the fact that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are rumored to be in Madam Web. This makes sense. I think this makes sense because, well, the Madam Web, she's literally the centerpiece of the Spider-Verse. She is the Spider-Verse, you know?
Yeah, basically.
But, of course, would it be amazing to see Tobey and Andrew again on screen? Yeah. Of course it will. What I don't like is that this is probably going to be their selling point. This is probably going to be, guys, come see our movie. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in the last 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
I hope it's not like a Across the Spider-Verse kind of thing where it's like literally, oh my gosh.
Footage.
This footage from the movies or whatever. Like, this moment.
Like, which is like, that's a great way to utilize their characters for that movie.
For that movie, that was perfect. And if Madam Web does that specifically, that is good. But if they market it like, if they, they might be in
Vulture and Morbius.
Like, bruh, what are we doing here?
Yeah. And we know that they've done it. They've already done this with Morbius, with Tobey Maguire, because his image was on the screen, on the wall, and then that scene wasn't in the movie.
Bro, the sad thing is, though, is I think that Sony I might have to be at Madam Web opening day. I think they've done enough for me to be at Madam Web opening day, because the end of this movie could now possibly confirm a next movie for either of these guys or for both of these guys.
I didn't even think about that.
Like, that's
probably why they're.
It could obviously go the more boring route and go, oh, here's more of our Sony villain verse that nobody wants.
Yeah.
Or it could go, okay, we're gonna put what you guys want in probably the movie you guys aren't going to see.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what kind of movies we've been making. You know? And it's, again, we're trashing the movie that hasn't come out yet, and we haven't seen it.
And the cast isn't even that bad. Like,
Sydney
Sweeney and Dakota Johnson.
Adam Scott.
Yeah. There's some good pieces in there. It's Sony and the Sonyverse, though, so you got to be...
Have to be wary.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. You can't... The movie could very well be very good. I'm not going to discredit immediately. I don't have any hope or faith at all.
Oh, yeah.
But it could
Zero
be...
expectations.
Yeah, exactly. But it could be very good. And if this ends up being a Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will return, it's actually very possible that the end credits, like a Iron Man will return type thing. It's very well that it could say Spider-Man or Peter 2 and 3 will return, you know. And if it does that is probably going to be the best part of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which undoubtedly...
That's going to overshadow, like, the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah, you know damn well that people are... Once this movie comes out, if that happens, when the internet talk is literally just going to be theories for the next Spider-Man movies. Yeah. That's all it's going to be. No one's going to talk about Madam Web.
Oh, no.
The reviews for Madam Web are going to be, I can't wait for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's next movie.
Or you have to see the end credit scene.
Yeah. yeah, exactly. And I don't... And at the same time, that brings up the other thing is like, well, will Sony do Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man 3? Yes. I think they're going to do it.
I think they are.
It doesn't... At this point, it doesn't make sense for them not to.
Losing money. I mean, they are losing so much money.
Because, the official, Sony movie account literally had to comment on the fact that everyone was doing #TASM3 in the comment section. They were like, I'm just the account owner. I don't do any... I actually... this is my job for Sony.
Yeah.
I don't do anything else. So, it's like... It's kind of like a... Well, I don't know if it'll happen, but at the same time, why wouldn't it? Because we know how studios are, and especially superhero studios, when they hear the fans go, we want this, and they see everybody say that, and they go... That's $1 billion right there.
Yeah.
The next 2 Spider-Man movies that are Tobey and Andrew will make over $1 billion.
Oh my gosh.
They will.
Dude, bro, if they bring Sam Raimi back
for
a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4, that would easily make That would probably be the highest grossing movie that year, probably. Depending on what comes out, that will probably be the highest grossing movie that year.
Yeah. No doubt. And I think they could bring back Mark Webb, but different writers. I think different writers, because his directing is completely fine. I think he's a good director.
Yeah.
But it's the writing. I don't know if he had any I don't know if he wrote any of the movie, but he probably just needs better writers.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Get Lord and Miller,
Yeah.
Get Lord and Miller to write a one-time, not a big Spider-Verse event. It's just a simple story about Peter Parker.
Bro, and what's crazy about TASM 3 is so obviously Gwen, spoiler alert, Gwen died.
Spoiler alert, Gwen Stacy dies.
Yeah, Gwen's dead. So
she smacks the fucking ground.
So how does he move on? Do they go through with Shailene Woodley as MJ, the person who was supposed to be MJ back when the movie came out, or is it more like Felicity Jones as Black Cat, because she was already in the movie?
Yeah.
She wasn't Black Cat by any means, but she was just like Felicity Jones. She was obviously going to be Black Cat probably in the next movie or whatever.
She had like 2 lines of dialogue or something like that.
And I think she had one scene where she was like doing something like sneaky or something on like a keyboard or something. But nothing like,
Right,
But she could return maybe as...
Yeah. It's very possible. Here's what I propose. Not for Spider-Man 4. I trust that they would probably have a good story for that.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what I propose: minimal baseline kind of character arc for Andrew's Peter.
Okay.
The entire movie is him and Felicia as Spider-Man and Black Cat having a relationship outside of Spider-Man and Black Cat as Peter and Felicia.
Yeah.
But they never get together, and the movie can be a metaphor for, let's say, so Amazing Spider-Man 2 can be a metaphor for losing a girlfriend in any way, a breakup, death, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 is about moving on from whatever that is. He plays around with someone who he doesn't really love, but he has an attraction towards and makes him feel good.
Yeah.
In no matter what ways that is, And at the end of the movie, I could genuinely see, I honestly don't want to see a character of MJ. I don't want to see like her be a character throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I think the movie should end with Aunt May setting him up on a date. He opens the door. It's MJ, and she goes, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot." And cut to credits.
That is awesome. And then obviously Venom as the villain, maybe.
I'm not gonna say Venom because he's being set up for Tom, and I don't think it's obviously a canon event that all Spider-Men get the symbiote, but I think we can kind of just assume that at some point he will get it.
Yeah.
And even if in I don't know if they would want to do this, but in Secret Wars, if he gets the symbiote just like Tom, if him and Tom both get the symbiote, but I don't know how that would work story-wise because...
I don't know. It wouldn't line up. I was going to say maybe like Andrew could literally give it to Tom like through his movie. But I don't think that would line up because I think TASM 3 probably will come out after Secret Wars.
Well, Secret Wars... I don't know because Secret Wars comes out in like 2028.
Yeah, 2028.
It comes out in 5 years. So within this 5 years, we could get an Amazing Spider-Man movie.
That's true. Yeah.
They worked fast,
and especially with Madam Web. If Madam Web right now is like is literally setting those up, like this could be like in the works right now. I don't know. I think that. I don't know. I feel like maybe Andrew giving some. Maybe he comes into Secret Wars and he's Black Suit Spider-Man.
Right, yeah.
And then it obviously transitions fully over to Tom. But at the same time, they've already set up the piece of Venom that's already left in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Maybe that doesn't end up going to Tom Spider-Man. Maybe that is... maybe that's Eddie. Maybe that one's for Eddie. Or maybe that's for Flash Thompson. Who knows, Well,
because we know it's a canon. It showed that it's a canon event that every Peter or every Spider-Man... gets the symbiote at some point.
Suit, yeah.
But I think it's going to be easier for us to just assume that instead of forcing it and telling like a really shitty Spider-Man story, like Spider-Man 3 with Venom.
Yeah.
I think just maybe saying that he already had it. It's maybe he got it sometime after Gwen died, and it fueled his rage, which he already had.
Yeah. That's
easy way to say it. Easy to say that he just left out some details in that No Way Home scene when he's talking about it.
Yeah.
It's very easy to say that because I personally, I don't see it working in the next TASM film as a plot point. It could. Well, no, it couldn't because the entire point of No Way Home is that he is no longer rageful. He is no longer vengeful.
Yeah.
He is finally Spider-Man again.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And so it would kind of just be him fighting like Venom for the sake of like him, you know, him like paying homage to the line that he said in No Way Home that he wants to fight an alien or
alien,
what, you know,
yeah.
He wants to fight.
I want to fight an alien.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna fight an alien at Secret Wars. He's gonna fight an alien of some kind.
Yeah, I feel like honestly that makes more sense for Secret Wars to be the one that pays off that line because No Way Home is MCU.
It's an MCU film.
TASM 3, not technically MCU.
It's funny
or technically MCU, but not really MCU.
But you know what'd be crazy is if Marvel Studios produces that and the Marvel Studios logo is in front of both those movies, then they would be like officially like in the order of canon, which they already are.
I mean, yeah,
but like these would be the first time that Tobey and Andrew are officially branded, like their first their movies. You know. Anyways, it's very interesting.
Very interesting. There's a lot of shit going on right now.
Yeah, I really hope that that TASM storyline kind of unfolds that way.
That's good. Yeah.
If they're smart enough, they'll go that way. Because I don't want to see MJ or Mary Jane. I don't want to see Mary Jane.
I honestly think her
as a character,
like you said, her being like kind of like okay, she kind of represents and like we like the she is like the resolve of kind of his character in that sense where it's like okay, we know that he's gonna be happy with Mary Jane. We don't have to like see it or anything.
Yeah, we know.
We just know that Peter married Jane.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen, and it's just like it's kind of just like the comics. I mean, with the death of Gwen Stacy, and then isn't Mary Jane introduced literally after
because Gwen was the first girlfriend.
Yeah, so it is kind of calling back to Andrew being possibly the most comic accurate Spider-Man.
And it would be a little different from the comics. Obviously, it'd be a new story because you're telling a kind of summer fling with him and Felicia.
I hope that they need to emphasize that it's a fling, but also emphasize that it's like the getting over the processing of like the grief and stuff like that fully. Getting over that trauma.
Right. Yeah.
Essentially. So the deeper aspect and the fun, playful aspect of their relationship.
Right. Yeah. And you can easily do that by the comic line where he reveals his identity to Felicia and she goes, "No, I don't want to know who you are. I want it to just be a Spider-Man and Black Cat."
Yeah.
That could be the climactic point of their relationship in TASM is he reveals himself because he thinks he loves her. Yeah. And she goes, "I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm here for." Yeah. And then he realizes what this has been the entire time.
That would make
cut to Mary Jane. Yeah. Anyways, that wasn't even the last piece of news that I had. Avengers Secret Wars is apparently going to be a soft reboot for the MCU. I don't know what that means exactly.
I did hear this.
I
saw a little Twitter thread about it. Kind of. I didn't read all of it, but I read some of the major points of it, and it was essentially saying that Kang, Kang the Conqueror, has essentially been set up for. He's essentially been set up for a soft reboot, like for him to manually like soft reboot the MCU essentially.
Yeah.
And this means like things like I heard this guy specifically say bringing back Steve Rogers into the main MCU story and having him be a dual Captain America with Sam, because apparently that does happen in the comics. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does.
They both like shine at the same time. Apparently that is a thing, and obviously not with Chris Evans Steve Rogers with a different Steve Rogers. And also the same thing with Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the guy specifically did say that he doesn't think that Steve Rogers, the new Steve Rogers, should have his own, like, project necessarily. It should be, like, him and Sam.
He should be the Falcon.
Yeah.
You know?
But it should be, like, him and Sam, kind of like a Sam and Bucky kind of thing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Or a Cap and Bucky kind of thing. But he said Iron Man specifically thinks that there's more stories to be told and stuff like that with Iron Man in the MCU and stuff. So
yeah.
I would say essentially along the lines, and I would say them bringing back a lot of the characters that were killed off that people think, still have their, rightful time to shine or something like that in the MCU. Right. I just don't know, because you're so deep into the into the universe. I
don't know. It's obviously it seems like they want to do it so they can introduce mutants in a way that makes sense. It would make sense. I don't know. Be more creative and just do it and like find a way to do it within the current universe.
It feels like integrating mutants into the current universe feels more interesting than rebooting everything.
Yeah.
And I'm for one, like, I would be like, I'm not like, I obviously love how they like concluded RDJ as Iron Man and stuff like that. Yeah. And that was like, a perfect character arc in the MCU. And part of me is sad, obviously, that there is more Iron Man stuff to be told, that we don't get to see Tony Stark interact with Reed Richards and with,
of course,
and with Doctor Strange more often, and the top, minds of the MCU and Professor X,
Yeah.
It's just, that sucks, but it's also like, we have this perfect character arc that was already done with Iron Man.
Yeah.
We already know it would feel cheap to bring him back. I think that's why they have kind of strayed away from using Iron Man variants as well.
Yes.
Is they don't want to, even like a different version of Iron Man, they don't really want to touch that.
Right, yeah. Because people can get upset, People also get upset about, like, it's not Robert Downey Jr. We wanted to see Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
The only one I think a lot of people would accept is the Tom Cruise one.
The Tom Cruise one, yeah.
But I don't
think Tom Cruise will play that. It's literally evil Iron Man. He's not,
yeah.
I don't know.
And he doesn't like. I don't ever see him doing a superhero film.
No.
He said that The Flash was a masterpiece. So
he definitely got paid an unbelievable amount of money to say that.
To say that The Flash was a masterpiece.
Bro, let's be honest. This is a little off topic, but The Flash was good, right? But who paid all these guys to say that it was like the best superhero movie ever?
Yeah.
Or a master? I don't know, bro.
I don't know. But Avengers Secret Wars
soft
reboot.
Question mark?
Question mark. I don't want it to be. I think that they should just continue the MCU as its own universe. No reboot in the timeline or whatever.
Integrating is cooler than just starting from
exactly.
scratch.
Yeah. I don't think the MCU should start over. I think it should just get into gear. I think it should.
Especially think of like the universes that are rebooting. DC is rebooting like their universe from scratch, bro.
But not because it was like successful.
Yeah, obviously because it was atrocious. It was a dumpster fire essentially.
Yeah.
So why would the MCU need to emulate that? And people would obviously want to bring up the questionable trend of quality in the MCU project as of late, right? In the post-Endgame era. I know everyone loves to say that. The post-Endgame era, everything sucks.
Yeah.
Obviously not, right?
Not true at all, yeah.
But still, are like the higher-ups of Marvel just like kind of overreacting to... they're still making money. That's the thing. It's like the movies are still profiting. Like Guardians 3 is still one of the highest earning movies of the year.
Yeah.
Earned like $800-something million.
I'm really surprised it didn't make $1 billion.
I honestly I was pushing obviously for it to. I was really pushing.
I mean, $800 million is still
really
$200 million away from $1 billion. But I mean, I don't see it going. There's the whole thing that it's like. Well, it's the post Endgame era isn't good. It all sucks. Well, if you thought that, they wouldn't be making so much money. You wouldn't be going to see it. You know, you wouldn't. And I don't even think it sucks. I think it is weaker, but it is not bad.
I think looking back on it, both like Phase 4 and 5 are going to be like, definitely people will look back on it and be like, yeah, they were treated like too harshly and stuff.
Yeah,
like
no doubt. Like they'll recognize
Phase 4 specifically, I feel like, because Phase 4, every single project, bro, literally every single project, nah, bro, sucks. First episode of a show came out, sucks.
Yeah.
Literally, it didn't matter, bro.
Yeah.
And it still is kind of that way now, but like Guardians 3, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny because Guardians 3 kind of feels more like the exception to the rule than like the basic, you know, the fact, because it is like everyone say, oh, Guardians 3, it's really, you know, James Gunn leaving. It's his goodbye to Marvel.
The James Gunn
you know?
movie, yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah, it's so strange because I see more hate for all the movies that I thought people really liked than good, like after they came. So like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Bro, I have not seen love for that movie since it came out.
Why does nobody talk about Black Panther?
Wakanda Forever.
Bro, literally every time, Guardians 3 is the only good Marvel movie since Endgame. I was like, bro, Black Panther just came out like not
it was
too
the
long
movie
ago, bro.
right before Ant-Man.
Like,
yeah.
We forgetting this? Like,
right.
That was a good movie.
And same thing. I have not seen one bit of love for No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Which is the craziest.
Bro, Shang-Chi, bro.
That one's a little, I mean, like, I don't think it deserves the amount of hate that it gets.
Yeah.
Because it is a good movie. But it's understandable because it's a character no one like. It's not a movie that people are going back to watch every 5 minutes.
I will say Shang-Chi has, like, some of the most, like, in my opinion, some of the most questionable, like, why did you do that?
Yeah,
in the MCU? Yeah. Like Awkwafina defeating the...
Yeah.
that to me was just like, I don't know why you just did that.
Yeah, why would you do this?
But the rest of the movie's great and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here but listing off, like, you know, these Phase 4 and 5 projects and stuff that are good movies. Why aren't people talking about them anymore? Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, bro. Oh, every Marvel movie feels the same. You get a Marvel movie that feels unique and different.
Yeah.
And people complain. I don't know.
It just doesn't make...
And then
people are going to complain.
People complain and then don't talk about any of the positive aspects anymore of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, at all. It's so crazy to me. Maybe it's the attention spans. I don't know, but
I don't want to blame everything on like attention span because obviously people can have an opinion.
Yeah, but it feels like everyone's like on to the next movie, you know, and people just forget about, like, even now Guardians 3. I'm starting to see like nobody talk about how great that movie was, even Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
like
literally
one of like objectively one of the best movies to come out this year.
Yeah,
it's
if
like
not
top 3 objectively,
yeah,
right?
Objectively, yeah.
It's top 3. Why am I not seeing barely anybody talk about it still? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's the internet. I don't know.
And obviously the hyper focusing on the negatives and stuff like that's a whole other thing, but
yeah. It's very strange. Well, this goes into the last bit of news that I have. Is the DC? I just wanted to talk about the last DC openings that have happened because Blue Beetle just came out, and we're gonna watch it. We'll talk about it on the pod, but it has made an abysmal $25.4 million on its opening weekend, and I've heard all good things.
Yeah, this is actually insane to me.
Yeah,
like, okay, so. One, let me get this out of the way. I am not expecting this movie like full-time length to do that well box office wise, right?
This is not a good start, yeah.
But the fact that it's like opening weekend was like that much lower than The Flash. It was lower than Shazam.
Yep. Yeah.
And obviously Black Adam, like, why?
Right. So, yeah, Black Adam made $67 million, Shazam made $30.1 million, and Flash made $55 million. And that's all opening weekend.
I don't know. I have a feeling Blue Beetle could possibly be the best film out of all 4 of these.
Oh, no doubt. The fact that I haven't heard a single like really bad thing about it, and it's been out for a whole like 3 days.
I've heard really great things about it. So I've heard that it's a lot of fun, and I've also heard that there's a good plot twist like in the movie somewhere that a lot of people are kind of raving about.
Okay.
I'm actually glad that I haven't been spoiled about this movie though. That's one thing that I'm really happy about.
It's very interesting.
I haven't been spoiled really at all about the movie.
I don't know anything other than the trailers and stuff.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
I'm very excited.
Yeah,
and I just hope that if it does turn out to be as good as we're hoping it to be, I kind of hope that it gets a boost in the box office, man. It deserves to make more money than Shazam, than Black Adam, and probably The Flash as well.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't know if it will, but it deserves.
It deserves to,
and also the Latino representation and stuff like that, all that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the first Latino superhero lead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great stuff,
very
man.
exciting, and I'm excited to watch it. But that's all the news I had this week. Do you have any comic book news?
Nah, man. No,
all right.
No comic book news for me.
Nice. And we can let's go ahead and play a game before we hop into our recommendations.
Let's get it.
It's gonna be an overrated, underrated, or properly rated, or overhated, or underhated, or overloved. All of it.
Just how we feel about it.
Yeah. How do you like this movie? What is your opinion on this movie? Basically,
yeah.
So we can go ahead and start off. We just got 10 movies. We're just gonna read each other off a movie and decide.
Let's get it.
You can go first if you would like.
Okay. I'll start off with a movie I haven't seen yet, but a highly regarded comedy movie.
Okay.
Tropic Thunder.
You haven't seen Tropic Thunder?
No, I haven't seen Tropic Thunder.
It's okay. I hadn't seen The Dark Knight for a long time, so it's okay. Properly rated. It is one of the funniest comedies out there. One of the most, despite the blackface, because people will say that it hasn't held up in age because of the blackface. I still think it works perfectly. It's still a commentary on film. It kind of still works in terms of how people are casted nowadays. Not in terms of doing blackface, but casting people in roles that maybe should have gone to other people. Not necessarily based on like race, but physical features in general.
Yeah.
I really think this is one of the strongest comedies of all time. It's one of my favorites. After review, I'd probably give it a 10, honestly. And I think this is probably a properly rated film because I hear nothing but love, and when I do, and it's like not super often. It's only when it like gets brought up, Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So my first movie, let me give you something. Twilight.
Oh. It's been a while since I watched Twilight. I'm just gonna say it's probably overrated because of
because of the fan base.
Because of how big the fan base is. But even still, amongst like, people who are looking at movies objectively and stuff, it's probably properly rated.
Right.
Because most people are like, yeah, this is like, a 2000s kind of vampire.
Right.
Romance
when they were really obsessed with vampires.
Yeah, and just the way I haven't even watched this movie since I've been into movies, but I know just from memory, the way this movie is shot is just
atrocious. It's awfully shot. It's bad.
It's hilariously bad.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's no matter what way you look at Twilight, it could be either the three options. Because properly rated as a bad movie, yeah. Overrated as a good movie, very much so because it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
And underrated as a hilarious bad movie.
Yeah.
Because I think if you look at it, it is a great time.
Yeah.
To laugh at with friends and stuff.
Especially all of them, honestly. They all are kind of wow, these are hilariously bad.
Yeah. And to be fair, that has to be with a group of people because alone, it's an atrocious thing to watch.
Yeah. Don't watch Twilight alone. Warning.
Warning, don't watch Twilight alone.
Okay, so up next, how about Moonrise Kingdom?
I'd probably say underrated. I literally don't ever hear anyone talk about this movie when they talk about Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Even though it's one of his more recent times, like a 2013 or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. I think it's. I don't think it's an amazing film, but it's definitely better than what it probably should be talked about just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moonrise Kingdom feels very cute to me.
It's all, I mean, that can be said for a lot of Wes Anderson films.
Yeah.
But this one specifically because it's like children main characters.
Like a childish kind of, you know, it like you said, all Wes Anderson movies can like kind of be cute in some way.
Yeah.
But this one definitely with the childish like charm. And especially even the adult characters, I feel like, kind of have a more childish energy about them.
Right.
Especially Edward Norton as like the counselor.
Right, yeah. Especially, yeah.
Yeah, how we ranking Moonrise Kingdom properly?
I'm going to say underrated.
Underrated, yeah.
because it should be talked about a little bit more, but not too much.
Respectable.
Okay, what about Breakfast Club?
Breakfast Club. Okay, so I'll tell you where I'm at. I'm at properly rated, leaning overrated.
Okay.
Because overrated because obviously like every middle-aged mom that grew up in the 80s and stuff is in love with Breakfast Club. It's the best movie of all time, you know.
They love that movie.
And dads too. The dads out there definitely love Breakfast Club as well. The 80s kids in general.
80s people love Breakfast Club,
and it is a good movie. It's a great movie about you know like the roles that specific people and stuff can fall into in school and in life in turn and stuff, and also like the kind of not wanting to end up like your parents kind of movie and stuff like that, you know. But I'm leaning overrated more so because of the middle-aged moms and the best movie of all time. But it's more so properly rated because most people acknowledge it's a pretty good movie, and it is a pretty good movie.
It's an 80s classic.
Yeah.
That still holds up. You know?
It definitely still holds up. I think,
all right. How about Interstellar?
Interstellar. Personally, I guess I'll go properly rated for Interstellar because most people think it's a very, very good movie, and I also think that is a very, very good movie for sure. I mean, I think it has one of my favorite like kind of plot twists of all time, I guess, with the whole ending with like, you know, Coop having like how they like tied the beginning with like the bookshelves and stuff like that back into the end. It is like it's obviously a confusing movie and stuff as
it can be,
as it's not like, for at least from what I heard, it's not like Tenet level confusing.
I really don't even think it's that confusing, if I'm being honest. I found it pretty like understandable. Not to be like
Interstellar or Tenet.
Interstellar. No, definitely not Tenet.
Yeah.
And not to be like, well, I got the movie, all of it. I'm sure I don't get some of it.
I think the more sciencey stuff is what kind of it's like. Okay, you're not really supposed to get that.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
like it's just like the the physicist stuff in Oppenheimer, like when they're talking about the particles and everything.
Like I have no idea what they're saying. Yeah,
but you know you can. It's still a more straightforward movie than like Tenet, you know, which is very ambiguous from what I've heard and stuff like that. You know, it doesn't lay stuff down for you basically at all. And Interstellar, it does. It definitely does. I think that the ending and the way that time flows in is where a lot of people get confused with time dilation and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's not time dilation isn't that like I'm not trying to sound like a douche, but it's not that crazy of like a concept. It's when gravity gets denser, time can dilate and fluctuate around it, and they obviously go into like a black hole and stuff like that.
Right.
There's obviously plenty to love about Interstellar, especially for sci-fi. Like if you just love space or sci-fi stuff,
it's so good.
It's such a good movie.
I've thought about it. It might be my favorite of all time. It just might be my favorite.
It's just I don't know. It feels so grand, and it feels like everything just works in the movie.
Yeah.
The Matt Damon like little small role,
the like pop up cameo of Matt Damon,
Anne Hathaway's character,
so good. Jessica Chastain and Casey Affleck.
Yeah, Casey Affleck. The score, obviously.
Incredible.
And then Matthew McConaughey, obviously hitting it home with the lead. I got to go properly rated. It's honestly... I need to watch it and review it, but it's honestly probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's crazy because it's so grand. I think what I love, I've noticed that I love, same with like Everything Everywhere All at Once, is I love movies that take almost like uncomparable concepts. The multiverse, time, space, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And making it a story about a father and a daughter.
Yes.
Or a mother and her family.
Bro, that's what I love so much. So this is what I love so much about Interstellar, and this is why I think the main criticism of Interstellar that people have is very wrong. A lot of people say that Interstellar is super like pretentious and stuff like that, right?
No, I don't.
That it doesn't. It's Nolan, you know. He doesn't have any emotional connection. It's just him saying, you know, smartsy pantsy stuff that no one understands.
That's
right?
Crazy to say about that movie,
bro. Interstellar, literally, I'm like the beauty of it, to me at least, is that it is this huge, grandiose, like epic sci-fi saga kind of movie that spans across time and space. Literally, they travel, you know, so far in the freaking space and across time and space. Love is what connects this man and his daughter.
Yeah.
And even in literally the fourth dimension, love is the only thing that connected this man with his daughter. And obviously hit the older version of his daughter, you know, crying at like her, you know, her hospital bed and stuff, like,
yes,
you know, saying that she held out that hope all that time because her dad promised her that, you know, that he would come back. Truly just it's so personal and such a huge moving story that you feel it. And like you said, it's perfectly to relate that to Everything Everywhere, another movie that has that, you know, multiverse, big moving thing, but at the end of the day, it's a story between a mother and a daughter. Yeah. And their relationship.
Yeah.
And
it's so
movies like that are just it's like the best of both worlds. It's like you have everything grand and huge, and then you have that personal, gut-wrenching, you know, relatable story.
Right. I need more. It's kind of I don't know what more big concepts like that you can do.
Yeah.
Maybe death. Death would be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I thought about Under the Sea, like an Under the Ocean type movie, but that's on Earth, so I don't know how like grand that can go.
Yeah.
Because it's limited.
Yeah.
But
who knows, man? Everything Everywhere. They take the multiverse, but they really bring the multiverse to them.
To their like one timeline.
That's what's kind of so cool about everything is like
they don't actually go anywhere.
It's not them traveling the multiverse. Yeah. But they also kind of are traveling the multiverse.
Maybe
they do at the end, especially when you know.
Yeah. Maybe an interstellar movie about travel through space and time, but through the multiverse. That's a personal story. Something like that.
Yeah.
I just love those types.
More of those, like, even more of those, like, family type, you know, bonds that are placed in these huge moving stories. Those work. I mean, those are definitely effective methods to tell those bigger stories. Because when you have all that big moving parts and stuff like that, and there's no personal connection, sure, it can still be a great movie, but it might not really hit you, you know, personally or emotionally, you know?
It might, yeah.
It can feel like, oh, yeah, this is, you know, a spectacle. This feels awesome, but what am I feeling here, you know? Where am I, you know, where is it hitting me at?
Yeah, that's exactly, I completely agree. I think I went twice, so you can actually go do two movies.
Okay, let's go Batman 89.
Well, I know Batman fans obviously love the Batman 89 because it's their first movie, basically.
Yeah.
I'm going to say overrated, though.
Overrated.
It's weird because I think it's overrated as a good movie, but as like a superhero movie, it's fine. Yeah. I think it's a fine superhero movie. It's a fine Batman movie, but as a movie, I just you know, it's I have it like at a 6 or something like that. It's fun, but it's a little too goofy for me, which is kind of a scary thing because people say that is like, it's like a nice balance of silliness and seriousness, and that Batman and Robin is the one that's like, ooh, it's too goofy for me. And I'm like, I'm scared. I don't want to watch Batman and Robin if that's too if this wasn't too goofy, you know.
I like briefly remember watching like Batman and Robin, and it was like, from what I remember, it was literally like, that's the one with like Jim Carrey, right, and Tommy Lee Jones.
Batman and Robin is with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, as, with Mr. Freeze. Yeah, okay.
Batman Forever is Jim Carrey.
Yeah, okay. I have not seen Batman and Robin. I've seen Batman Forever, and I know Batman Forever is literally like,
it's goofy.
It's like a playground, basically. It's actually crazy how it's actually crazy how that movie's set up.
Yeah,
but no, Batman '89. I for the most part kind of hear that same sentiment. Like people say that it is a balance and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but from all that I remember of it, it's pretty goofy.
It's very goofy, and it's a little too goofy to take seriously. The romance plot is terrible. He tells Vicky Vale that he's Batman within the first like 5 minutes of meeting her, and at the end of it, they go on one date, and at the end of it, he goes, "I love you. I think you should know who I am." You know, it's really dumb. Yeah. There's Jack Nicholson Joker, probably the best part about the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe not very overrated because obviously the fans deserve to love it. Yeah. You know, they're allowed to love it. But for me personally, it's overrated.
Yeah, definitely respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with Uncharted.
That's properly rated. It's I think people recognize that it's a bad kind of like adaptation of a video game to film. And video game movies aren't well received usually anyways, so I think it's pretty accurate. It's pretty properly rated, especially, again, Tom Holland in an IP that he doesn't need to be in.
Yeah.
Just to have Tom Holland in it, you know?
Yeah. And it is just really a generic, like, adventure kind of treasure hunt.
It's a bad Indiana Jones film, is what it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And we've seen how bad an Indiana Jones film can be. So, yeah, properly rated.
Yeah, that's respectable.
Okay, I'm gonna give you The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I'll go properly rated, honestly. I think now, especially, obviously, he's been getting more of his flowers and stuff like that. And TASM 2 as a movie and stuff definitely has problems. Like, I don't think that's not, like, even questionable at this point.
Right.
It's known that it has some writing issues and stuff like that. But I also think that it's true that it was kind of judged too harshly. So yeah, I think TASM 2 is I think it's properly rated because it's now kind of gotten its due flowers after No Way Home and everything. I think that it was judged too harshly when it initially came out, for sure. I want to say Jamie Foxx's Electro might have been the center of a lot of that. And also the marketing of the movie wasn't very good with the kind of marketing it as like a 3-villain movie, which already was like kind of crowded. Yeah. You know, crowding the movie. And then Green Goblin's in it, you know, actually in the movie for 10 minutes. Although he does have an impactful role, it's still not... It still feels crowded, honestly.
Yeah.
And then... Let's not even get started on Rhino, Paul Giamatti's Rhino. It's why? Like, there's really no reason for him to be in the movie at all, and the mechanical stuff is definitely questionable. I think that the big things, though, that were, like, heavily used as criticism, like the look of Jamie Foxx's Electro. Yeah. That's how Electro looks in the Ultimate Comics, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, I mean... There's really, complain with the comic people who made it. Like, they kind of just adapted what was already there. And TASM was already following more of the Ultimate Comics anyway, I believe, right? So that kind of makes sense. And then I obviously think that Andrew Spidey has grown to get the flowers that he deserves and stuff like that. And I hope that he continues to get them. And obviously I think that the backbone of the TASM duology is the chemistry and the romance between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, which is probably the best relation, like on-screen relationship in a comic book movie. I think that they have a charisma and energy with, together that is just unmatched, really. And I don't know, it's definitely a hard one to replicate. Sometimes a lot of the relationship stuff in the superhero movies can feel like kind of forced.
Yes.
And kind of just why.
Yeah.
But they definitely felt very natural, and their love and stuff like that carried a lot of the great moments for me of this movie, specifically TASM 2. Like when he writes what is it he writes on the bridge, like I love you, I love you on the bridge. That's just wow, man. That's just an awesome moment. And then obviously the itsy bitsy spider moment in the electric fight. I love it. I don't care. I have to mention it. I love it. But properly rated for TASM 2. Yeah, and then for your next one, let's go Knives Out.
Okay, Knives Out. I think Knives Out is. I'd say it's properly rated. It's one of my favorites. I love Knives Out. It's honestly to me the best murder mystery out there. But I think it probably gets talked about it enough. I don't think it's one of my favorites, but I don't think it needs more praise than it already gets. Yeah. I think, I think the cast is incredible. The twist, I love the twist is like not who the murderer is, but like why what's his name, Daniel Craig's character, why he's there, like who hired him is the real like twist, but yeah, I think Knives Out is probably properly rated. Yeah. Okay. All right. Your next one is gonna be. Let's probably do one more. Okay. I'm gonna give you Uncut Gems.
Okay. So Uncut Gems. Really like Uncut Gems. Yeah. Very, very strong. I just easily say it's by far Adam Sandler's best movie, obviously. Like, not even really close. Yeah. Yeah. And it's him taking on a challenging role. Even though, in some aspects he is playing a character that has similar personality traits to his own goofy kind of persona. But at the same time, it's still him playing a character, not a Adam Sandler. Yeah. I think Uncut Gems is properly rated. A lot of people say that it's a very, very strong movie. It's probably the Safdie brothers' best movie, I would say, or at least their most complete, between that and Good Times, or Good Time. Right. I think Uncut Gems is definitely a lot more complete and rounded off. The ending is obviously a very, very big shocker, but the movie in its entirety is really anxiety filled. Yes. It's a it's a trip, man. It is definitely a trip, and the way, even the way it's shot is like super claustrophobic. Mm-hmm. It gets your blood pumping, man. This movie definitely gets your blood pumping, but I'm definitely going properly rated. If it feels like it's respected the right amount that it needs to be. Yeah. Because it's great.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess we can probably from now move on to our recommendation segment. Yeah. I'm going to keep mine pretty short. I'm only going to recommend. I watched a few movies this week, but I'm just going to go ahead and recommend the Dark Knight trilogy altogether. I love it. I think so. I'll go through each movie as best as I can. The first movie, Batman Begins, easily the weakest. It feels like a montage. It very much feels like it's a montage throughout Batman's life instead of just showing us. Instead of just letting the story breathe. Some terrible editing, some absolutely terrible editing. The acting is all pretty good all around. But again, the editing is really bad. Specifically in the fight scenes, very choppy and like not very good camera work. It spins around a fight scene while it's real close and while it's real choppy, so you can't tell what's going on at all. There's a scene with Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox and Bruce Wayne, where he literally goes, they make a joke. He makes a joke like, he says, what do you need all this technology for? And he's like, I'm going spelunking. And he's like, you're probably not going to encounter much gunfire in the cave. And I swear, the moment he finishes the word cave, it cuts to the next scene. And it doesn't let it breathe at all. Probably one of my biggest issues with Nolan is that sometimes he doesn't know how to let a scene end. He just cuts it before it can even really be over. And I had to go back. I was like, it's over? It was like, oh, there was a mistake there. I got my copy's bad or something. I was like, nope, that's how it's edited. But the movie overall is very good start to this trilogy. The Dark Knight. I can't believe I hadn't seen it already. The Dark Knight is fantastic. I don't even, there's not even much I can say. So what I'm going to talk about is the thing that I don't ever see anything talked about. So obviously Heath Ledger, amazing. Christian Bale, amazing. And yeah, Heath Ledger, amazing. He deserved the Oscar that he got, and it's a tragedy that Heath is no longer with us. He's one of the most iconic performances of all time. One of the greatest performances of all time. Two-Face, played by I think it's Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, Aaron Eckhart. Amazing. I didn't know that he was as prominent as he is in this movie. And he is arguably as big, if not bigger than Joker. I was so surprised that he is as big as he is in this film. And what a performance. What a performance from him. And I can't believe he's not as talked about, honestly. I think
it's crazy, right? It's actually crazy.
I think Heath Ledger did more to be the character, but in some ways I think their performances are pretty on par. I really do.
I think that they both impact the movie.
Yeah.
In their huge ways.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. The ending is one of the best endings ever. I've been quoting it. I've been quoting it ever since I watched it. He's a silent guardian. What does he say? A silent guardian. I actually can't remember what he says now, but a Dark Knight. Anyways, an incredible ending, and the relationship specifically between but Bruce Wayne and Alfred and Batman and Commissioner Gordon. Those two relationships are incredible, and that leads me into The Dark Knight Rises, because those are my favorite parts about that movie, is the relationship between those characters. Yes. Bruce's relationship with Alfred, incredible. Emotional scene.
Oh my god. Michael Caine, bro.
Yeah.
Bro pulls everything out of you in The Dark Knight Rises.
He does. That scene is so good when he's like, I'm going to have to leave. If you keep doing this to yourself, I'm going to leave. And the scene with Jim Gordon and Batman, where he says, shouldn't the people know who saved them? Who are you? I never cared who you were, but the people should know. And Batman responds with that it doesn't matter who he is. A hero can be as simple or a hero can be anyone doing anything as simple and as reassuring as putting a coat around a young boy's shoulders to let him know the world hadn't ended. And the moment it cuts to the scene of Jim
silent.
Yeah, the moment it cuts to Jim putting the coat on Bruce, I forgot about that moment. And when Jim is thinking about the moment, I immediately remembered it, and then it showed the scene, and I cried. And I can't believe I cried. I was like, why is...
And then it goes up, he goes, Bruce Wayne?
Yes. Wait,
Bro.
Oh, man. And
that's my favorite scene of the movie.
That's my favorite. Oh, yeah, that's my favorite scene, too.
I love that scene, bro.
That shows that scene. I like teared up, and I was like, why is this getting me? And I replayed it. I was like, it had to be just like the just like not knowing that it was coming. I watched it again, just as emotional. I was like, you've got to be kidding. Why is this getting me? I still don't get it. I still don't get why it's getting me. But incredible finale. And my biggest gripe with The Dark Knight Rises is the treatment of Bane.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were going to go the Robin route.
Yeah, that's a little... The Robin thing is a little dumb, too. I think everything but the moment when he's like, oh, your real name is Robin. I honestly think that like everything is good up to that point. I was like, really?
Like, why?
That's so dumb. Bane is an amazing character until the last 5 minutes of his character. Yep. When it is revealed, I'm going to spoil it because you've probably seen the movie already. It's been out, yeah. So spoiler alert, you can skip ahead in the video and the podcast. It's revealed that the entire the person around everything was Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter. Now I love the full circleness of this trilogy. I love that the basically plot of the third movie is finishing the plot of this first one. Yeah. I love that. I think that's great. I don't like that Bane isn't the one that really put it all together, because it takes this like what feels like a very philosophical character and turns him into a guard dog and into a like what Bane is, a big schlubby guy that just or like the brainless muscle. Yeah, really. And it does it in the last 5 minutes, and the moment, and you really feel the disrespect to the character when he goes, "I'm going to kill you," and he is about to kill Batman, and he just gets shot with a shotgun, and he flies like a cartoon character across the way. I was like, really? That's how you're gonna end this character? Really disappointed with that. However, the rest of his character is really good, and Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, great, really good. Overall, the last movie I think is almost just as good as The Dark Knight. It's the weakness of the twist that really gets me. But other than that, I think they're pretty on par in my personal opinion.
And the ending, with him and Alfred just
across the way, yeah. When Alfred says like I always go on vacation and I hope to see you sitting. When you weren't here, I would hope to see you sitting across the family. We wouldn't say anything to each other, but we would recognize that we were there. Yeah. Incredible finale.
And obviously the whole like Batman like faking his death and everything.
Yeah. And I love the
pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah. I love the rise of Batman. I love like this movie is like a true like he didn't really come back after like he comes back for a minute to fight Bane. Yeah. But he didn't come back for real until that prison. Yeah. Until he gets thrown in that prison.
I really think my two favorite scenes of the movie are the scene with Captain Gordon, and then the scene when he rises out of the what are they chanting?
Yeah, and it just means rise. It's so good. Yeah, go watch the Dark Knight trilogy if you haven't seen it. I can't believe I made it this far in life without seeing it. Watch it now. Anyways, those are my recommendations. What did you have this week?
So, I had one of the kind of beginner Wes Anderson movies, the Royal Tenenbaums. It came out in 2001, so yeah, this is pretty early Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
And it's cast is pretty nice. We got Bill Murray. He's a known Wes Anderson guy.
Yeah.
We got Ben Stiller. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow. That's also pretty cool. We got Donald Glover.
Oh,
that's pretty cool. We got Owen Wilson, Wes Anderson guy, and we also got Luke Wilson. So yeah, actually both the Wilson both Wilson brothers are in here, and it follows a very like successful family of like geniuses. They were all like so they were like young like childhood like geniuses or whatever. They accomplished like crazy things as like children and stuff, and then they like kind of haven't really gone anywhere as adults basically. And wow, the movie just completely embodies Wes Anderson. It really does. It balances the lightheartedness and the very light tone of his comedy, and it balances that really well with some very dark and kind of disturbing scenes. I honestly think that there's a particular scene with Luke Wilson shaving in a bathroom.
Okay.
And it is, in my opinion, one of the most like impactful Wes Anderson scenes. Okay. And I think it's so impactful because it's literally like it's right after, it's like some like, oh yeah, some kiddie, oh yeah, fun stuff, we're laughing, and it's like, no, we're not laughing. Yeah. This is bad. This is all bad, basically. And I was just so shocked. I was very shocked by how fast the tone changed, but also how well it happened in the span of time, because the serious kind of darker thing, it's a quick scene that happens very quickly, but he doesn't hold anything back with it at all. It's a dark scene, and I don't know, and Luke Wilson's acting in it, beautiful. Really love it. And I also love how Owen Wilson is like not a good guy in this movie at all. He's like he's like really dislikable and stuff. It's cool for Owen Wilson because he's usually like the, oh, why is this guy such a nice guy kind of thing or something. Yeah. It's kind of cool that he's like, yeah, you're kind of a douchebag. Yeah. Ben Stiller. Oh, yeah. Ben Stiller's pretty awesome. He plays like he honestly plays a pretty heartwarming character because he's like a young like widowed dad. Yeah. And like he's like processing the death of like his wife who he loved and stuff, but he's also like being there for his sons and stuff. And he's honestly one of the most, probably one of my favorite Wes Anderson like characters, I guess, because he's just like, I don't know, he's literally just a dad that is like just trying to protect his sons and like raise his sons like when they're going through this like awful like time and experience. He kind of resembles Augie actually in the character in Asteroid City who Jason Schwartzman like plays, you know, in the play. That he kind of resembles him a little bit in how he's kind of like a goofy dad, kind of trying to help his kids navigate it, but also like not necessarily helping as well. Yeah. He's trying his best. Yeah. I think, and Gwyneth Paltrow also, she plays a very like monotone kind of, oh yeah, I'm smoking a cigarette, don't care, you know. It's a good role, I guess, for her. I mean, she has like a wooden finger. It's Wes Anderson-y, you know, and it's cute, I guess. I mean, it's whatever. Yeah. It's not really much to talk about. It's just kind of there. I don't know. I think this movie really shines in being a family, like a Wes Anderson taking on a family story, basically. Like the struggles that families just go through and how hectic it can be just being in a family with siblings and crazy parents, you know, and the parents are also divorced, but like the dad still wants to like win back the mom, but the mom is like definitely like moving on and stuff like that. And it's Wes Anderson taking on a family, and it feels personal, but it also feels like a Wes Anderson movie with. It's literally the best way to describe it, I think, is a Wes Anderson movie with a family-like charm besides those, like, minute and a half that Luke Wilson is in a bathroom that you want to tear your soul out, basically.
Okay.
It honestly is like that. It's like a very lighthearted film for almost all of it. Pretty relatable story, family stuff, and then there's that bathroom scene.
Okay.
Yeah. That's kind of how I view it, at least.
Okay.
And I don't know. I definitely recommend it. It's Wes Anderson. I mean, you got to watch it at some point. Yeah. And then next up is this movie called Kingdom of Heaven, which is a Ridley Scott epic movie. Shocker, I know Ridley Scott's known for his like medieval epic movies, you know. This is just kind of adding on that. Came out in 2005, has some big names like Liam Neeson and Orlando Bloom in it and stuff. Orlando Bloom being much more prevalent than Liam Neeson. Okay. The best way I can describe this is it feels kind of like a Ridley Scott like religious like passion project almost. So it feels kind of like I don't know if you've seen this one, but Martin Scorsese's Silence feels kind of like that, and it feels kind of like The Fabelmans from Spielberg, obviously, and kind of like the themes of a lot of Spielberg's like anti-Nazi stuff, like because he has a bunch of Indiana Jones punching Nazis or Schindler's List, just a bunch of Nazis suck in his movies, and that's obviously he is a Jewish man, obviously. So to me, this is kind of like that, but and Silence, Martin Scorsese's obviously he's a heavily Catholic guy. Silence is a big Catholic kind of religious based story, also starring Liam Neeson, by the way. But this one's more a Christianity focused one, and it's about the era of the Christian Crusaders. And I think a really good thing this film does is it portrays like a lot of the Crusaders and stuff as they are, not like how some history books and stuff kind of want to paint them as, but this movie shows them as like these guys were like warriors, they were they're warriors who dress themselves up in a cross and stuff like that, and although they might have been religious, a lot of them definitely weren't by how they lived their lives and stuff like that, and they weren't all good people and everything, they weren't heroes, they weren't these like all great men or anything. But I think what really takes the cake in this movie is Edward Norton, and I don't know exactly what happened. I think he might have been in the mask or underneath the costume or whatever, or maybe he was just voicing. But he plays King Baldwin IV, who is this is actually all of this is like a real life kind of story and stuff really happened. He plays King Baldwin IV, which is one of the kings of older kings of Jerusalem, who is known for he suffered through with leprosy with his life. So his body and physical abilities basically deteriorated his entire life, and especially in the Middle Ages, that basically meant early death. Yeah. And he died early. He died at the age of 24. Wow. And this movie showcases him in kind of like that, like the prime era of like his like about to collapse kind of hold on Jerusalem. And I think that his character and stuff it's very nice because he's a Christian king who truly was like trying to make Jerusalem like a place for every like religious person to be accepted in, like Muslims. Like, so when the Christians came and took Jerusalem, they slaughtered tons of Muslim people and not okay stuff at all, right? Yeah. And he and obviously King Baldwin comes in and he tries to at least start a basis for freedom of religion in Jerusalem, basically, like where Muslims and Jews and different religions are protected. And he had a famous rival named Saladin, who is also in the movie, and he is a Muslim sultan. He basically leads like the Muslim armies and stuff, and he was a rival of King Baldwin, and there's an impactful scene I think where he literally marches up to the gates of Jerusalem basically, and King Baldwin comes out and meets him, which is a big sign of, kind of a big gesture already because he has leprosy, and even a simple thing like riding out like away from like the comfort of like, your bed and your, bath and stuff like that. That's like that can already, hurt you even more and stuff like that. And it's literally it's two guys, two like high respected, maybe some of the most powerful men in the world, choosing not to shed blood for the sake of not shedding blood, for the sake of, keeping people alive and stuff like that. And finding some common ground despite their difference in religion and stuff like that. And I think that's what this movie does really great, is that it brings religions, it brings like different religions together and not like outcasting any of them. Yeah. And it's it is kind of like it is basically a true story. So it's a pretty insane kind of story with this like kind of early basis of like a freedom of religion stuff happening, and these crazy like feats of, kind of bloodshed being avoided and stuff by these really like impactful and peaceful kind of general and leaders and stuff. But I think that I don't know, I think you kind of do feel the personal connection there that Ridley Scott has to the project. I think that there is some things wrong with it. I think it is a little too long. I have this problem with a lot of Ridley Scott movies, but this movie in particular, I found to be a little too long for me. There were some unneeded scenes, and it was kind of dragging by the end of it. But the impactful scenes, I think, definitely weigh out the bad and are worthy enough to recommend for sure. Despite the runtime, I think it's a good watch, honestly, and it is a history-based film, so learn some history too. I mean, nice. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But yeah, those are my recommendations. Nice.
Well, with that, we can go ahead and cut out here. Yeah. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in this week. If you want to find us on any of our social media and elsewhere, you can find us on mainly Instagram. We say this all the time, but you can find us mainly on Instagram. We are at the Cinemaniacs Pod on Instagram. You can find me separately. I am at Maceo Movies.
I'm at Loader Reviews.
And thanks for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode, where hopefully we'll probably be talking about Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle?
Yeah. Blue Beetle. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
The Cinemaniacs Podcast.